and that's why Satan is able to use them more for his own purposes. I forgot the other part of the question.
Well, I did too, so I'll ask a different one. Is the tares and the wheat what we're talking about now?
Yes, absolutely. In Matthew chapter 13, the Lord says it, that the children of Seth are his children, and how the tares are the children of the wicked one. And he says it many times when he accuses the Pharisees and the Sadducees as being of they that are their father the devil. And he accuses them of being those that have martyred, from Abel to Zacharias, and all the prophets of old from the Seth line. And so the church authority, and this is one thing that most people don't understand and don't get, is that the church authority now, and especially the Catholic, serve the Canaanite New World Order agenda. And that's why they're part of that whole thing. That's why pedophilia is allowed and condoned and even protected. And there's so much deviance going on in the Catholic Church that we have no idea about. But the pedophilia, that's just the tip of the iceberg, We don't understand exactly what the church authority, and even like Israel right now, their holy book is not the Torah. Their holy book is the Talmud. And the Talmud is a Babylonian text which is very corrupt, gives the chosen race, the Jews, even the right to sleep with, young children. And all they have to do is pay a fine. And all these different things are in the Talmud. And so the Talmud has corrupted the heart of the people. Oh, you were asking about the Palestinian Jews.
Right.
All right. Going back, before Israel was created as a nation, both the Arabs and the Jews lived there for thousands of years, for 3,000 years, side by side, with, no problems. The New World Order, the Synagogue of Satan, the United Nations, the seat of world government, they were going to use the creation of Israel to not only gain access to all the archaeological sites, which are priceless in Israel and the Middle East, but also they were going to create this nation and bring it up under the Talmud so that they could foment distress between the Muslims and the Jews, which had never occurred prior. And of course, all this was done with the will and the glory of the Lord behind it, because he's told us that the generation that saw the fig tree bloom, which is the nation of Israel, that would be the generation that saw the second coming of the Son of Man. But he also said in Zechariah 12 that he would make Israel a burdensome stone, a cup of trembling among the nations, and that would be the creation of Israel and the tension that would occur between all the nations that were surrounding her. That would be the nation that led the whole world into war. And I don't know if you're familiar with Albert Pike and Giuseppe Mazzini, but they had talked about in the late 1800s how they needed to foment 3 global wars in order to bring in the New World Order and the one world government. And so all of that was part of that plan. And so what you saw in Palestine, remember Palestine, Gaza, those used to be areas where the giants, the Canaanite tribes, lived themselves. And even in the Philistines, Syria, Petra, Bashan, that whole area, that's where the giants lived before the Lord sent Joshua, Gideon, and the rest of them in to secure the promised land and to wipe out all flesh. One other thing that most people don't realize is that the reason he told them to wipe out all flesh and to spare no man, woman, or child is because the beings that were there occupying that land at the time, they were of the men of renown. They were of the children of Anak. They were the giants of old. they were still worshipers of the fallen angels. They were blood drinkers, cannibals, and that's why the Lord told them to spare none. But Israel got tired of war and spared and left a remnant of the giant nations. And Moses himself told them that, before he died, that they would do this and that would become a leaven unto their nation, and that it would taint and corrupt the nation. The Palestinian people, they were also part of this giant in that land of Gaza, and they were assimilated back into Israel. But many of them still had the Canaanite and still worship the fallen angels. And I'm not saying that, all the Palestinians are that, because many of them, they're mixed completely too. The people of that area are mixed Arab, mixed Jew, mixed Canaanite, mixed Sethite. And so it's going to be individual for them, as far as, just like it is for the rest of us, as far as whether they will have part in salvation or not. That is all individual and based on their free will. But that's why the Palestinians in that area, they have a predominantly schizoid nature as well. But the Jews also of Israel, they don't study and worship the Torah. They study the Talmud and the Kabbalah and different holy books that are tied to worship of the fallen angels.
Isn't that because, here's my theory on Israel, the word Jew, Satan counterfeits everything. So God's people have always been called Israel, not Jew. Jew came in after the Babylonian exile and the mixing with the tribes, and refers to one of the 12 tribes called Judah. But God's people are actually called Israel, and Satan counterfeits everything. So what I believe has happened is there was, of course, the bloodlines of the 12 tribes, but then Satan brought in, you've heard the Khazar and the Ashkenazi issue. It is a fallen bloodline, and it might we can go into, it might even have descendancy from Mars and other locations, but that's a different subject. But in any case, he predominantly populated the nation of Israel today with that bloodline. He has the whole world thinking it's a bait and switch mind association. He has those people who, like you say, have the Kabbalah and really are of the seed of the serpent. He has the world thinking they're, quote, Jews. He associates in the minds of the people the word Jew with the God of the Old Testament, and then he has those people do horrendous things like pedophilia and satanic worship. So you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's got people thinking those are the Jews, they're horrible people, and they love the God of the Old Testament, therefore the God of the Old Testament must be bad. You see how it works?
That's Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Those that say they are Jews but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Exactly. So in reality, in America's no different. The Christians here are no different. They're 98% apostate, but there is a remnant in all people groups.
Absolutely.
That belong to him, but they're not called Jews. They're called Israel.
Right.
And I think there's a huge. He uses the word Jew to really confuse people.
Yes.
Okay, you were asked on Daniel Ott what the mark of Cain was, and I just wanted you to know that in Joy's book, she claims that that's an X sign. It's an X sign that when they put people in their coffins, they'll cross their arms, etc. And I'd also heard that it was an X sign. It also goes genetics to the triple helix X, but I wanted you to know that because that was one of the questions somebody had asked you.
Yeah, I'll have to review that because you're right, I don't have familiarity with that.